Here I am, a guy sitting in his living room talking about life. And I don't have any professional qualifications. I don't have any professional entertaining skills. I just have a perspective that I feel like sharing, just for anybody who might want to listen, might be interested in these topics, and might find value in what I'm saying. And what I hear so often is this sort of reaction that I wouldn't have anything to say. People who could be doing something like this, not exactly this, but just any kind of sharing. Everybody, I believe, has something to share, something in their perspective, something original in their experience. Through the original life experience they have, the original combination of thoughts and views and everything that comes together to make an individual perspective on life. We each have something to share, and anybody is now able to share their thoughts, share their perspective with the world. It's really a free-for-all now. With anybody can just start a YouTube channel, start a blog, start a podcast, start writing, start speaking. It's open for anybody to share. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to, become a professional and have millions of fans, but why do you need that? Why do you even need that? If you share your perspective and a few people get some value out of it, what's wrong with that? I think that we live in this environment where we are surrounded, our media is full of professionals. We have professional media. We have professional experts who are teaching us about technical topics, and then we have professional entertainers who are there to give us entertainment. And because we're surrounded by all these professionals and our media is full of all these professionals, it's so easy for us to see ourselves as being sort of in a different league, or not in their league, seeing it as being a special class. Just like professional athletes, that's a different class where they're playing the same game that anybody could play. Anybody could play a game of football, basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever. Anybody could play the same game, exact same game. They're just happening to play it on a very high level. And so it's easy to just to see that as being a different class that I could never compete in. I could never do that. But then the question is, why do you need to? Anybody can play those sports. Anybody can share something with the world without being a professional. And you don't have to compete. You don't have to, have 1 million fans or else you don't count. I think we're all holding ourselves and seeing media as being this sort of special professional thing. We're just so surrounded by professionals that it's hard to take seriously just an average person sharing stuff. And so we see ourselves as kind of locked out of the media because the media becomes these professionals. But there's a couple of points that I would make to this. One is that when it comes to the experts, on technical topics, you can have experts that are professionally certified and that we can say, okay, this person is trained and educated and has experience in this field. This person is an expert. And anybody else is not an expert. Why would I listen to them? But that only comes into play in specific technical fields. Like, for example, a medical doctor. That's a field where you definitely want a certified professional. But when it comes to the fields of life, personal experience, what does my life mean to me? What's my experience of the world? All these kind of non-technical topics. There is no professional certification. I mean, some people might look to some kind of spiritual leader and imagine, though, they have a higher level of professional understanding of life, but what does that even mean? There's no agreed upon professional distinction for being spiritual. So, spiritual leader, having spiritual insight, there's no kind of professional certification that we all agree upon. It's just a matter of our individual kind of taste and judgment about who we think happens to know something. And really, I think that there is no way to professionally certify life because we just don't know enough about it. There is you can't have this professional review board of people who are judging whether you know about life or not, because the professional review board doesn't know about life. We're all just trying to figure it out. So this is an area where I think there really is no distinction between experts and non-experts. Just everybody can have their perspective, which can add something to the overall picture. And when it comes to entertainment, I think to be a professional entertainer, have millions of fans, and there's absolutely talent and skill and experience that goes into really entertaining, being among the best in the world. But do we need to always be listening to professional entertainers? We've all heard just people tell a story that has been interesting. Even people that might be the most boring people, they can always have, there's always some kind of story they could tell, something they could share. Everybody has their moments of saying something that is somehow interesting, valuable, and helpful. So my point of all this today is to suggest that we don't need to see any kind of clear wall between us and the professionals. I believe everybody has something to share with the world. Even if only a small number of people will actually care about it and respond, so what? Isn't that something that's valuable? If you say something and you even have 3 people that thought it was valuable, that seems to be something that is real and significant. That's a real contribution to say something and have 3 people benefit from it. So we don't need to compare ourselves to professionals with this idea of it's always about one speaking to millions and being part of this sort of elite of experts and entertainers. This world is open now. This media world is now open, and it's up to any of us. We can simply share our own perspectives and contribute to others through sharing our views. So I encourage everyone out there to give it a shot. If you haven't already, what can you share with the world? What's something that you think at least one other person might benefit from? And we don't need to wait for professionals to say it for us.